Hi there. I am the CRM Ninja, and on today's episode of the Oops Factor, I have Dani Kahil. Welcome to the show, Dani.
Thank you. How are you, EY?
I am good, thanks. It's evening time here, but obviously it's first thing in the morning for you. So hopefully you are feeling a lot more refreshed than I am.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I went for a quick walk, so that was refreshing. And as I was telling you, right, despite it's Australia, we still have winter here. So I don't
It's
know, 10
shocking,
degrees
right?
or something. Yeah. Yeah, so it's still like 10 degrees outside. So yeah, that's cool. Nice weather though. It's nice and sunny.
That is true. I remember some years back when I came to Australia in, I think it was May time, early May, like April, early May.
Yeah.
And I was staying in Sydney. I was in the Central Business District. I was going out at night. I remember I walked out from the place I was staying and I'm like, it's raining. And I felt really stupid, like a real tourist from the other side of the world to be like, yes, there is rain and there is bad weather in Australia at some point of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And this year has been, I don't know if you heard, last year we had a lot of fires, bushfires.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of bushfires, a lot of forest and bushes got completely destroyed, like habitat and animals. And this year we have torrential rains. Like for months and months, now it's fine, but like for 2 months we had non-stop rains and floods and everything. And now so I live in Queensland, which is the middle east side of Australia, south where you have Melbourne, Sydney. Now
Yep.
Sydney is under floods again because they were in the past, and it's just crazy weather. But yeah, absolutely. So weather is changing. We have a lot of rains. We have 4 seasons, despite what people might think. In some part of Australia, like Melbourne, it's cold. It can be like in Europe, like close to zero, a few degrees over zero. And yeah, we still have all the seasons here.
It's good to know that you still have all seasons. So what I wanted to ask you about, or to start off with, is my background, which is two karate people trying to kick the shit out of each other. Because I understand that you are into karate.
Yeah, true. Look, it's pretty new. So it's almost 2 years now. So it's not I know some people have done it for years and years. It's pretty new, but I really I don't know, I started and straight away kind of felt in love with the sport and all the aspects of it. So yeah, I'm really into it now. I started essentially with my daughter, right? So my daughter is 10. And that's really cool about karate, that where I train, you have people from all background, all gender, almost all age. What I mean, almost all age goes from 10 to 70. I think the oldest person might be around the 70, 75 or something, 75-ish.
Wow.
So, and we all train together. And yeah, it's kind of the only sport that I know of where you can really train together despite the age and the genders, and so yeah, that's really cool. So I train with my daughter too. She's follow exactly the same step as I did. So yeah, we really like it. So yeah, a long journey ahead anyway, but yeah,
all the belts to go through. Why did you decide to take up karate?
I
obviously 2 years ago
yeah.
was pandemic, was lockdown and such, but I'm curious.
Yeah. Look, I always like to learn new things, and whether it's in our world, the dynamics and power platform world, or outside, I always look for new things to learn. I don't know, maybe it's, I get bored a little bit. Also, my cameras get a bit fuzzy now. What's happening? There, come back to me. You see the same? Why is it fuzzy? There we go. Cool. So yeah, I always like to learn new things. And so effectively I was searching a bit through, I always search through extra activities, and I tried a few different things right in the past. And yeah, I just wanted to give it a try. And also, I guess, just feel comfortable with in case, because I was never attacked really in the past.
Okay.
I never really went. I was never really into a very dangerous situation. There were situations in the past where, it was a little bit uncomfortable, where, people were arguing next to me or something, and I was a little bit, but yeah, I really wanted to learn if something happens, what can I do to, defend myself, and what are the,
Important. Yes.
yeah, and what are the what are the elements and the habits you need to be in control of in case something happens. That's the essence of it. Yeah.
And of course, there's the benefit of, being fit and doing it and active and, the mental side to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm doing quite a lot of other sports on the side, so that was not really the reason for karate, but it's true. Yeah, it's definitely also that comes with the sport.
Wonderful. So going from karate and self-defense to the oops factor, what do you have to
Yeah.
share with us?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So look, I had a few. I had a few kind of stories, especially going in the past in the on-premise world. I'll just give a few anecdotes, right? Where you remember those times where
the deep, dark history shrouded in cloudy memories.
On premise where you could mess around with servers and mess around with the database, and you had to be aware and you had to be careful with the performance of the servers and everything.
Yeah, database admins, really important people.
Yeah. So just a few anecdotes. I remember one day we were messing around in the CRM database. Not sure. Did you play with the CRM database when you had on-prem?
I may have.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I remember we played around with the activity table because we wanted to import some activities from someone in Outlook or something, importing Dynamics and directly kind of injecting the data into the activity tables. Ended up such a mess because you have few activity tables working together. You have activity body, activity pointer, you have all this other. Yeah, that was a huge mistake. I was not the only one doing it, so that was good. So as a team, we kind of it took us way longer to fix all the. It took us way longer to kind of fix everything. But anyway, so those were the kind of I have a few of those, but the one I wanted to kind of share with you and the community, I guess, is so I'm a lot into requirements, functional consulting, and how to understand the deep needs of your clients and propose solution, right? And
you launched a course in the last year about this, to memory.
Yeah. Correct. So I guess the biggest kind of oops I had in that space. So I wanted to share that with you and the community, right?
Sure.
Is so a few years ago, actually almost 10 years ago now. So I was doing consulting gig in Belgium. So I was working for another partner in Belgium. So that partner was implementing all kind of CRM systems, not only Dynamics. They were implementing, if I recall, they had a small Salesforce team and other CRM systems, right? So, and a bank approached us and wanted a discovery about it was not even Dynamics, about that specific CRM tool. How would that fit the bank? I was supposed to sit with the stakeholders of a few departments of the bank, understand what they wanted, what is the fit to that tool, what are the customization required, how much it would take. It was a big project. So how long, how many years it would take to implement the whole thing.
I like the way there you say years.
Yeah, at that time it was it was a big project. So yeah, it would have been years, effectively. So started, I had an architect with me, a technical architect with me that was supposed to complement me from a technical knowledge on that tool. So I was more from a functional perspective coming in and kind of working with the stakeholders. So I started, and Look, the assignment took about, I don't know, about a month. So not so long. So I was supposed to have workshops with the stakeholders. So I had a chat with the IT director or one of the directors there at the bank. I don't exactly remember the title of the guy. But I was directly working with under him. So he was actually, contracting us.
Okay.
And he explained, yeah, you had Dani, I want you to, come in, have workshops with the business, write up a blueprint kind of, and present that back to me and the other stakeholders about, as I explained, right, how fit is the
Yeah.
product for us, what are the customization requires, a bit of a timeline and so forth.
It sounds like a standard sort of beginning of an engagement. You go in, you discover, you do a write-up, you present it back, you play back.
Exactly. So it sounded pretty interesting. I started my workshop. What I didn't really see at that time, but a few kind of red alerts should have flashed at that time. But the thing is, I was sitting. The first thing, they put me in a corner of an office somewhere. So I was sitting almost by myself all the time. The workshops were held in a room not far from it I was sitting. So I was just going from my little corner there in that building into the workshop.
Okay.
And workshops were scheduled. People were turning, but not everyone was turning to those workshops. So I had to catch up with some of the other people to kind of get their feedback. So the engagement was a bit scattered all over. Second, red flag, already on it. And it was not pre-engaged. I don't know. I didn't really feel like the customer was very engaged with me. But yeah, I let it go. Went through the workshop, discussed requirements with them. So, going through Excel spreadsheet and discussing how do you want to meet that requirement, in Dynamics and so forth. And actually not Dynamics, that other tool. And then look, the time went, and then I produced the document, and then comes the final presentation where I'm supposed to present, to the IT director and the stakeholders. And then I arrive at that presentation, and a huge room. It's like 40 people in that room. Like
40
half of
people.
them. It was the biggest meeting I ever had. Like the biggest presentation to a client that I ever had, I think. Half of them, I didn't even know them. Like all, in ties and I could say pretty senior people. And then I saw the IT director a bit already, a bit not tense, but yeah, he was not sure how that would go. But anyway, he kind of started the presentation, explained, the scope of the project and our mission. So what we were supposed to do for them. And then, he invited me to come and present, right? And so I come on the stage and start, presenting, department after department, how I understood their requirements. And I started, I think, I don't exactly remember the order, but I started, I think, with customer service. I presented, and it goes okay, kind of. Then goes to marketing. I present to the marketing team how I understood their requirements, and and then we go to the sales team, and I start presenting. And halfway through, one of the lady, I think the lead of the sales department, she cuts me halfway through, and she says, "Oh, I don't agree what you're presenting. Like half of my key requirements are not even listed here." But really aggressively, right? I mean, I was like shocked to go on stage, in front of 40 other people, right? And so, I just kind of tried to recall the workshop I had with her, but it was a little bit vague. I thought, if I recall, we discussed it and we kind of agreed that, the tool cannot offer this in standard. So we'll go, we'll try as a first iteration to, she cuts me again. And she said, I don't care. I'm not signing that document. And again, like really aggressively. And then everyone was silent in the room. Like you could, the atmosphere, was super cold. And, I just, try to kind of, grasped myself, and I looked at the IT director, and I said, look, I propose we do, another workshop to better understand each other, and and then anyway, I don't really remember how the whole presentation went, but yeah, effectively what happened afterwards is, I had that workshop, and to be fair, I don't exactly remember how the whole thing finished. I finished the document and handed over, but
I think you were quite relieved to get out of there.
Yeah. We didn't get selected as a partner, but it marked me. Why? I was really kind of marked because I didn't see it coming at all. Like I was not I was not passionate about that assignment, but I didn't see it coming at all. And it really took me a long time to, reflect back on the mistakes I made all over, especially that assignment. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of mistake I made, to be fair. And that, I would really try not to repeat now, right?
So what advice would you give to me? Because this could happen to somebody who's really junior, it could be their first assignment, or it could happen to somebody senior and, who's been doing dozens of projects previously and has lots of experience. So what would your advice be in general in going to engagements to ensure that something like the situation, the scenario that you've described would hopefully not occur?
Yeah. So, and this is where, it took me quite a bit of time, like a few years, to really go through and try to understand what happened, right? So first red flag on that project that you should see coming is I was completely isolated from the users that would be using the system, from my client. So I was sitting on my own, not interacting with them. So the first thing you need to do, that I always do now, is try to build strong relationship straight away.
Very important. Yeah.
Strong, because you work with people, right? No matter what it's IT systems, but you work with people, you interact with people, you talk to people, you need to build that relationship. It would be way easier if, I know you and I discussed with you and I had a coffee with you and we exchange a few jokes all over the project. It will be way easier at the end of that. I would have that presentation with you. The relationship is completely different. So the first thing I try to do is engage with your users. It's a little bit more difficult now online, but if you can, go see them, right? You don't have to go to be in the office every day of the week. But now I force myself sometimes to go to my client. I'm not forced. I mean, I really commend to my client.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Let's meet. Let's go. Let's have a coffee. Let's have a one day, in the office, so that we can really build that relationship. So that's one. I would have asked the IT director to put me directly with the business. So we were sitting two different buildings even.
Okay.
So I was sitting in one building. The whole business team was coming to my building, somewhere in a workshop, in a meeting room there. I would have sat directly with the business in their building, working directly with them. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Build strong relationship. Second thing is, I didn't do at all, is I went through requirement documents, right? No matter how documented they are, it's again language, right? We all come from different backgrounds. We all speak different languages. We have different understanding of languages. We have different experiences. Words mean different things to different people, right? So, going through requirement spreadsheet, even if I read very carefully what they mean, I would understand only half of it. The meaning of it will be understood differently throughout people, right? So
the same thing written down, one thing written down on a document could mean various different things to different people when they're reading it.
Exactly, right? So the other thing I didn't do at that time, and I would do always, I would try to do it as much as I can. Sometimes the clients don't like it so much, but what I would try to do always is see how they work. So, okay, you want this? Show me now what you're doing, or show me what are you paying now?
How are you doing
what
it?
Is
Where
the
is
as
the pay?
But how you doing? It's almost like a shadowing session. You sit down next to them and you see step by step what they do, right? So that, and you try to understand their pain. So again, right, another thing, I would have sat next to them, and one day with the sales team, one day with the marketing team, and I would see a bit how they work. I would see the atmosphere in the team, discuss with the various people. And so I would definitely do that too. It's, and really understand and empathize with your user. That's another one. And then a third one, which I ended up really like doing over the last few years, it's I would use a lot more visuals, right? So I was going through requirement spreadsheets, discussing very little visuals, very little diagrams. We didn't show the tool that much. I would really sit down now with them, go through requirements, see how they work, show the tool, kind of almost prototype with them. Would that work using the tool this way? You know, make it way more interactive and visual, which again, I didn't do at that time, right? So a few of those, and I think, if I would have done, even if I would have done 2 of those 3 things, I think the engagement would have been completely different, and I would have been way more successful. Yeah, that's it.
No, that's good. I mean, very important, but especially the visual parts. And what I know, what I've been working over the last couple of years, and other people has been working as well, is the art of storytelling. You're not just putting up dry information. I was going to meetings, and if somebody's got a PowerPoint up there and they're reading the bullet points, I will politely say, I can read the screen, tell me the story around it, and I try and do the same thing myself. I put up a couple of bullet points, I put up pictures, and you talk about it. So really important. Again, interacting with the users, building that network, building that community with them, and seeing what they're doing. So
absolutely
brilliant.
Yeah, but storytelling, storytelling is a good one. Yeah, absolutely. If you can, what I try to do too is sometimes when I do demo is having a story around that demo. And try to have a story that speaks to the client, so that they kind of better they better picture themselves in that situation effectively. Very important. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, Dani, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been great to have you on it.
Thank you, UI. Thank you. And you have a great night.
Thank you. And you have a great day. Viewers,
thank you, man.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode and learned some valuable lessons about interacting with customers. Feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlists, subscribe to the channel, and take a look at the blog. And if you would like to come on, hit the link somewhere in the description below, put your details on, and I'd love to have you on the show. But above all, have an amazing day.